Hey guys, Steph Wood here. We are going live, or we currently are live, thanks to HCF. So send through some questions and I will answer them all.
So how old were you when you started to play netball, and why did you sign up?
I was actually 6 years old when I started playing netball. I have two older sisters and I idolised them. So anything that they were doing, I wanted to be doing. So I think I convinced my parents to let me play in my sister's net at 8 team down at PRNA for her first carnival, and I was 6. So yeah, I wanted to do anything that they were doing. So yeah, they were my idols. They tell me now that they're the reason that I'm playing professional netball. So thanks Jodie and Tracy, I appreciate it.
Over the years, who's helped make netball fun and how have they done that?
Oh, that's a good one. Probably just teammates. I think when you're in a team environment, it can get quite the same all the time. So keeping everything fun, and that's kind of where you get your teammates, and they're the ones that can motivate you as well. So yeah, I'd probably say teammates, keeping the banner up, being a bit silly at times, being able to laugh at yourself if you get falconed, which Jackie Russell seems to do a lot of late. So yeah, teammates.
So it's been a long journey from those childhood days to playing at the elite level. Is there someone behind the scenes, or a few people behind the scenes, that you think have really impacted your netball that maybe haven't gotten the public recognition?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that really have helped me to get where I am. Of course, my family is a big one. They were through the times when I wasn't making a professional team, so they were very supportive then. But the big person for me amongst coaches, Kylie had a really big part in it too. I was with her since I've been 17 years old, so she had a big part. Sue Gordian had a really big part. She was probably the first coach who was quite brutally honest with me, and to be honest, in the beginning, she wasn't my favourite person, but definitely after that, she is one of the best coaches I've ever had, and is a reason that I've been able to play at the elite level. She really taught me what hard work was as well. And then the biggest one is Mel Passion. I will never forget what she did for me in the times when I wanted to quit netball. I went for a run with her and I pretty much said I'm done after this year. And she was honest with me about why she thinks I hadn't made it to the elite level, and she went through pretty much pre-season all year. We did a lot of running, and by the end of that year, I had a contract with the Swifts. So yeah, she's a big one as well.
So Annette wants to know, what are the recovery foods you use at Lightning after games and training?
Okay, thank you for the question, Annette. So yogurt, muesli bars, fruit comes out after training. If you're in the gym, you always have to try and make sure you get your protein in after gym, doing a really heavy lifting session. Some people choose to do that through food, being eggs, getting home and having your yogurt within 30 minutes, or some people choose to use a protein powder. After games, we get deliciously clean eats, and those girls are amazing. They come in and can be a different, we've had lasagna before with veggies. We've also had burrito bowls. That's probably my personal favourite. So they're the things that we have after game, as well as you can have your milk, which some people think is a bit weird, but I actually think it settles my stomach post-game. So yeah.
Jono wants to know, how big of an impact has Norleen been on you as a player?
Was that John? Did John say that?
Jono.
Jono, thank you, Jono. Massive. I think coming into the Lightning environment, I was probably very much, game had to be played by A, B, C, and I was probably a little bit one-dimensional at times, and Noel's really taught me how to see the game a little bit differently about the angles, and rather than thinking I just run around, you can also exploit the way the defender's body positioning is. So she's been massive. She really as well, probably the biggest thing for me, she really evokes emotion. She doesn't try and, training sessions aren't always these happy, they go correctly and they're this training sessions. She actually thinks that are great, the ones where there's a lot of grittiness in it, there's a lot of frustration because you kind of have to work it out, and that's probably been a big thing that she's taught me, that not everything goes correctly for 60 minutes of netball. That's very rare, and you've got to ride those ups and downs, and the way she does it is like no coach that I've ever had before, and that's the reason I think she's just one of the best coaches going around.
So Joey wants to know, hey Steph, my daughter Kayla wants to know, were you always a GA as a junior also?
I was always actually, when I was really little, I was that kid that wanted to play like goal attack, goal defence, centre. And up until I was about 12 years old, I was playing both ends of the court. So I was playing GD as well. And then I got to an age that I think it was probably around that 14, I kind of just always then consistently was in goals. I always played goal attack. And then as I got a little bit like 17, people started telling me I was a little bit short to be a shooter, so I needed to move out to the wings. And there was probably a year there that I played a little bit of wing attack, but goal attack was always my passion. So I was quite stubborn and was like, no, I'm going to be a goal attack. When you had to write your positions down for, I guess, trials, and that goal attack was always my number one position. And it's been something big as well. Like people often come and see me and they're like, oh, you're a lot taller than I thought you would be. And I'm like, yeah, I'm playing in the land of like the giants with like Cara, who's like 192. But there's things that I can do that tall girls can't do, and there's things tall girls can do that I can't do, but that doesn't mean that I can't be a goal attack. I've had to learn different things on shot with really tall defenders, being able to use a step back, but I never believe you're too short to be a shooter, and if you want to be it, go for it.
Alex says hi.
Hi, Alex. Does anyone else have any other questions? They can be anything about who's the silliest teammate, those sorts of things.
I know Maddie asked before, who's your favourite teammate?
Oh, yeah, okay. Classic Maddie. Favourite teammate, probably varies for different reasons. Maddie's recently got a new puppy, so she's probably up there. Everyone for different reasons. Laura this morning, she bought me coffee, so thank you, Langman.
Who was the biggest influence on your junior career of netball?
Oh, it's a tough one. I had a coach, her name was Catherine McKechnie, for quite a number of years down at Pine Rivers. So she probably coached me from 15 to 17, even probably a little bit longer. Oh, there's so many. There's like Gary Passion. He had a big part. He was my coach at high school. Amanda Stagg I had her at a Queensland level. Jenny Brazel, she was. So there's heaps of coaches that had influence on the player that I became, and I think that's actually a really good thing. Sometimes you can get taught by the same coach, and then you're only learning from the one person. So if you can get actually coached by several people, you can learn different things, and what Knowles talks about, like putting that into your tool belt, and you can learn how different coaches see things.
Georgia wants to know, who are the best and worst roomies on away trips?
Oh, Georgia, I like this question. Okay, best roomie. Oh, golly, I'm trying to think of who I've had this year. I'm going to put it out there. Pumza's probably the worst roomie, only for the fact that she sleeps the whole time. So you wake up, she's asleep. You pretty much go out, she's still asleep. So I'm going to say Pumza. Sorry for me. Best roomie, I'm going with Cara. We're just on the same level. Well, Laura buys me coffee. Maddie buys me coffee. I'm going to go with Cara, I reckon.
Courtney wants to know, if you weren't a netball player, what else would you be doing?
Yeah, good question, Courtney. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm obsessed with animals, so I would love to think that it would be something, well, there's probably a particular animal, sausage dogs. So maybe something within... Also, this is probably a real random one. I have a massive fear of flying. Like, I don't like flying. If there's turbulence, I'm grabbing whoever's next to me. So I would actually love to become a pilot in a way, because then I'm in control. I think the lack of control in a plane and not knowing actually how it all works actually kind of freaks me out a little bit. So becoming a pilot, so I know that I'm actually safe and understanding how a plane flies.
Shannon wants to know, what is your training schedule like now leading up into finals, and do you do any more of one particular thing? So our training is pretty much exactly the same. We do, we kind of have like a 4-day lead into each game. So like a normal week would be
Monday would be just gym and conditioning. Tuesday we have court work. Wednesday we have gym and skills, and then court work again on the Thursday, captain's run, and then game. So the big thing for us is, yes, we're going into finals, and it's a really exciting time, but we've got to where we are now by doing what we've been doing. So not changing, that's probably a really big thing for us. And so we don't do anything extra.
George A wants to know,
George A.
what's it like playing with one of the best mid-quarters in Laura Langman, and what's the vibe going into finals?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to play with Laura a few years now. Got to live with her down in Sydney, so it was really cool to kind of see what I had always seen was netball Laura to what she is off the court. She's real serious on court. She does like to have a laugh, so it was really cool to see her off court. The biggest thing for me is she's a phenomenal athlete, so I've been able to really see how that she goes about her business, and she's actually had an influence of me, how I go about in the gym and everything, which is probably the biggest thing that I've learnt from her. And she's not afraid to tell me if I'm doing something wrong. We've had a few scraps on court before because she's like, "You're going to go there," and I'm like, "I want to do this." So it's been phenomenal, and yeah, she's a good egg.
Emily wants to know, what's your best advice for someone who wants to play at the elite level?
Emma, that's a good one. First and foremost, I always think you have to enjoy it. You have to enjoy playing netball and love it, because when you get to this professional, in a professional environment, it is really consuming. Like, you are doing netball every single day, so you really need to make sure that you're having fun and enjoying it, and also having the balance of, yes, there's this big netball basket, but making sure you have something else going on in your life, because there's definitely I've had times throughout my career where netball hasn't been the greatest. So knowing that you have something else going on in your life, whether that's study, work, knowing what your chill out time, that's really important. I think that's really important even if you're 17 all the way up to getting into the professional land.
One Carla Pretorius wants to know, how many coffees do you drink per day?
Carla Pretorius, not as many as you. I don't know if that's the thing. I only drink like probably 2 or 3. I think Carla drinks like 5. I was lucky enough to live with Carla last year as well. So she would have, Maddie and I would be having tea, winding down before we go to bed, and Carla would be having a coffee. Like, she'll have a coffee at 8 o'clock at night and be asleep by 9. It doesn't affect her. So I reckon Carla would drink, I don't know, maybe 7. I'm going to go with 7. We're about to...
Kieran wants to know...
Hi.
Are you guys filming?
Yeah.
We'll come back later.
Sorry.
Kieran wants to know, what's your signature move, or what would it be?
Kieran. I would probably say, people have said it to me, it's probably step back on the shot. That's probably something that I do quite consistently in games. So I don't know if it's my signature move, but I'm going to claim it. I'm claiming it now.
Backstreet Cafe wants to know, what's your favourite cafe on the coast?
I actually did there's so many, but Backstreet do a great coffee combo with a little sandwich, bacon and egg sandwich, which is great. I've been there recently, and they give you a little freckle, which makes me happy.
Heather wants to know, what is your favourite part of the Sunshine Coast?
Oh, good question, Heather. There's many. There's so much about the Sunshine Coast that's great. Probably one of my favourite spots is down at Moffat. There's been a few times where I've had a bit of downtime and I've actually just taken a blanket and gone down and just... I'm not a big going into the water person, a little bit afraid of sharks, but I love sitting by the beach. It's just real calming, and it's a little bit of a zen that I love.
Sue would like to know, if you had to choose another club to play for, who would it be and why?
Oh, I can't go past the Lightning. I guess I played at the Swifts, but they'll always hold a very special part for me, because they were the person that gave me a shot. But Lightning all the way.
EJ says, "Hi Steph, it's my daughter Chloe's 13th birthday today, and she's your biggest fan. Can you please wish her a happy birthday?"
Sure
and
can.
She plays GA, and what's your best tip that you can give her?
First of all, happy birthday, Chloe. Best tip, goal attack, get in the circle and shoot. Sometimes goal attacks like to, me too, I do it. Love to hang outside the circle, but get into that goal circle and put your shots up.
How do you go above and beyond for your teammates?
Oh, it's very hard to talk about myself about this. That's a really tough question. Above and beyond for my teammates. I don't actually know. I feel like someone else needs to answer this question because I can't talk about myself. I don't know. Can one of my teammates write in and tell me what I do to go above and beyond? We'll leave it that one.
Who, obviously, I presume it's your sisters and some friends, but who was your backyard drill partner as a kid and how did that influence your game?
This is actually, so you would think it was my sisters. So we did used to go out into the backyard and play netball. My mum used to come down as well. I still remember my dad when I was younger, actually, fitness was something I needed to work on. And he was probably, he would have been like 58, 60 at that stage. And he would run around the courts with me. I used to play netball by myself as well. So I used to put on, my sister had made the under 12 Queensland team, and I used to steal her uniform and go back into the backyard and pretend to play and be like the wing attack and then the goal attack and passing to the shooter and shooting a goal. Yeah, so I play by myself too. My sisters weren't around.
Carla Pretorius again typing in. She's a boisterous one this time. At training, is there any specific place that you have to sit?
Okay, Carla. Yes, Carla and I have to sit at the end of the bench, like right at the end, in seats so we can separate the seats really far. There was a period during the year where people started sitting in our seats and we were like, how come they don't understand? We've been doing this for half a year that they're starting to take our seats. So yes, always have to be at the end of the bench with Carla. And then when we warm up, Carla and I will always be on the side of the court together. We just understand each other.
Raman wants to know, hey Steph, you're so outstanding as a craft player. Just wondering which coach out of Knowles and Lisa has improved your mindset and skill sets as a GA?
Lisa and Knowles are different sort of coaches, but they've both had an impact on me. And like I said previously, I think it's really good when you can actually take input from different coaches, because coaches coach differently and that doesn't make one coach wrong or right. So Lisa's been really good with me. She's really direct, and she loves certain things about a game, and she keeps me very accountable, especially on defence with those sorts of things, and also how to see the space. And Knowles is probably, like I said before, a little bit not making me get so caught up in making things perfect.
Carla Pretorius again typing in, I love you, Steph.
Oh my God, I love you too, Carla. Liffy.
Growing up, who would come to watch your games every single week, or who was your cheer squad?
My mum and dad would always be there. I don't know if my sisters would have been there. I know definitely throughout, probably when I started getting into like Pine Rivers and playing down at Clump Road on a weeknight, it used to be definitely my mum and dad. My sisters now will come to games. I think they're quite nervous watchers, so I think they've seen me lose a few games and seen how it's affected me, so I think it makes them quite nervous watchers. But yeah, it would have been my parents.
Brooke wants to know, who's your favourite teammate that you hang out with most?
Oh, Brooke, good question. I go through phases. I like hanging out with all of them. We went to as a group last night, we all went to dinner. I think that's actually really important that we know each other off the court. Actually, can I go back to favourite teammate at the moment is Annika. Her cookies are just my favourite thing at the moment. I keep telling myself I'll buy one, and then I'm like, all right, self-control, like eat that later on this afternoon and it will go straight in my mouth. Sorry, Kelly, our nutritionist. So yeah, I probably hang out with Laura probably the most. We definitely go to coffee a lot, but yeah, we all kind of hang out with each other at different times.
Chris wants to know, what songs do you choose for the playlist?
Oh, Chris, good question. I'm a bit more like Beyonce. So I'm really loving her live version from Coachella. So that gets cranked in my car a lot. And if I'm on level 50, I actually feel like I sound like Beyonce because I can't hear my own voice. I do love a little bit of old school too. Like Shania Twain's been played a little bit, which probably wasn't my choice, but I actually really enjoy it. So I like a little bit of everything. I don't really listen to the radio too much, so I don't really know much of the new stuff that Cara plays in the change room. I'm like, I don't know this song.
Shannon wants to know, what junior club did you start at?
Oh, good Shannon. Good question. I started at All Stars down at Pine Rivers. I remember it was a bright, like fluorescent orange polo that you wore at that time and a black skirt. And then down at Pine Rivers, I played in Brothers, Pirates. I think I played for Panthers before. Yeah, I played in a few clubs, but All Stars was my first club.
Georgia wants to know, does anyone in the team have secret talents, yourself included?
Secret talents. Pumza can sing. She can sing. I think we found that out in the change. Well, I did. I think it was last week. She can sing. You know that Annie can bake. Shez can bake. I don't really know. I'm going to go find out. I'll get back to you.
Anya wants to know, who was your netball inspiration when you were younger?
So I probably had two. There's a few so actually I still remember watching the 1999 World Cup final, and I think it was in New Zealand, and Cheryl McMahon got the winning shot on the last second. So Cheryl McMahon's definitely always been one for me that growing up I watched. Nat Medhurst was also one. And then one player I really liked, she was a wing defence, and that would be the position I would play if I didn't play goal attack, was Peter Squire. I think she got married and it was Peter Schultz, and Laura actually played with her in Magic, I believe, when they won. She was one player I also really liked watching.
Steph wants to know, what's your advice for getting through recovery after surgery from netball-related injuries? She's currently 5 weeks post-op today from ankle ligament reconstruction surgery.
Oh, that's that's actually really good. I've touch wood, never had a very long, I've had surgery on my knee, but my recovery was quite quick. You should talk to Cara about this one. Cara's had surgery on her ankle. Probably the biggest thing is setting yourself some small goals. It's probably quite daunting if you can, you've been told you're going to be out for 6 months or whatever it is, that you're only looking at that 6 month. Ticking off little small goals, I think, is really important, so you know there's progress being made. And one of the things I've probably recently, and this can be good as well, is started doing a little bit of journal work, because being injured sucks. It's no word of a lie, it can suck, but there's other things in your life that I'm sure you're quite grateful for, that writing those things down so you don't get too bogged down in your unfortunate injury. But yeah, definitely small goals along the way and ticking them off, and listening to your physio. Kurt and Greg will be happy about that.
Brooke wants to know, what's your thoughts on the timeout and microphones over the huddles?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a really good insight to have into the sport. That's what the audiences want. And some of the timeouts we have, I think it's good to have an insight into what actually goes on. And sometimes you might not even understand what's going on in our timeouts, because we have a few languages in our team. But I think it's really cool to have that insight.
Jason wants to know, how's your experience in your first World Cup?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like I touched on before, I was going to quit netball in 2014, and playing for Australia was always something that I wanted to do, and didn't think there was a time when I didn't think that I would be able to do it. So to be able to go to a World Cup was phenomenal. It was an awesome bunch of girls. We had such an awesome time off court. To also have family over there was something really special, and the result, yes, was definitely not what we worked for, but that's sport, and it was 16 years, I think, since the last time, or Laura keeps telling me it was 6, she's been to 4 World Cups, it's taken her 16 years to get that gold medal, and it was 1 goal in the end, and that, again, will treasure that silver medal, because it's pretty awesome to even get to a World Cup, and to walk away with a medal is very special.
Angus would like to know, how loud is the crowd at USC Stadium and how much of a difference does it make?
Angus, if you're one of them, you're phenomenal. I've played in many stadiums, and some people, we were lucky enough to increase our stadium by 50% at the beginning of this year. But it might only be 3,000 people in this stadium, but it feels like there's 10,000. You're so loud, it's incredible, and it definitely lifts us, especially if we're down a little bit and that we're starting to make a little bit of a comeback. The crowd really gets behind us, and it's one of the best stadiums I've ever been able to play in.
So do you have any last words for your fans ahead of our first home final on the Sunny Coast this weekend?
If you're coming to the game tomorrow, make sure you go over to the HCF marquee and get an Uncommon Care ribbon for anyone who has gone above and beyond for you. Thanks, guys.